Good morning, everyone. The next topic in transaction concept is serializability. So we'll see what is a serializability. Here, a serializability is a concept that helps us to check whether a schedule is serializable or not. See, we have already seen what is a serial scheduler. Here, there is an example on serial schedule. So see, the transaction, there are two types of transaction, T1, T2, and T1 transaction is having read and write operation, and T2 transaction is having read and write. So after completing T1 transaction, we are jumping to the T2 transaction. Here in second example, T2 transaction operations are carried out first, then we'll go for the T1. That is, it after finishing T1, we'll go to T2 in first one, and in second one, after finishing T2 transaction, we'll be going to T1. So these type of example are called as a serial schedule. So serializability means it will help us to check whether the schedule are serial schedule or no. Either these two types of schedules are called as serial schedule. But in real time, we'll be having a parallel schedule. So those parallel schedules, we have to check whether they are matching to our serial schedule or no. So a serializable schedule is the one that always leaves the database in consistent state. See, why we are going to check whether our schedules are serial or no. We'll check our schedules are serial or no, because if it is serializable, then only we can tell that those will be in consistent state. So serializability plays a major role. As it is serial schedule, then this transaction is said to be in consistent state. See, a serial schedule is always a serializable schedule, because in serial schedule, a transaction only starts when the other transaction finish execution. Here, how we'll call it is a serial schedule? See here, in the below example, when T1 transaction, that is read and write operation, we finish, after doing all the operations in T1, then we will be jumping to the T2 transaction. And similarly in like schedule 2, here T2 transaction, all the operations are done first, and after finishing this write of WA, then only we are going to start the second transaction. So this type of like schedules are called as serial schedule. And if it is not a serial schedule, then we will not check for serializability. Only if they are having only if they are parallel schedules, we will be checking whether it is equivalent to our serial schedule or no. So see here, here there are two types of transaction, T1 and T2. Here we are going to execute all the operations of T1, then we'll go to, after finishing T1 transaction, then we'll go to the T2 transaction. Then there will perform all the operations. And in second, what is happening? First we are starting with T2 transaction, all the operations will complete, then we'll jump to the T1 transaction. So this type of transactions are called as serial schedule. So here below there is an example of parallel schedule. Here this parallel schedule we will be checking whether it is serial schedule or no. See, this is an example. T1 it is having read operation and write operation, whereas T2 is also having read and write, but only we are first we'll perform read, then we'll jump to the T2 transaction to execute the operation. Then read of A, write of A, all the operations of T2 have been done, then we are jumping to write of A. So this transaction, that means first it is reading T1, first T1 operation is done, that is reading of data item A is done, then we are going to write of A of T2. In T2 we are doing both the operations, then after finishing T2 again we are going back to T1. So this is also equivalent to, that means see, T1 or T2 or T2 to T1, this is equivalent to T1 to T2 or T2 to T1. But in previously we have seen that this or this both are serial schedule. So this parallel schedule is equivalent to our serial schedule, we can tell. See, the previous example was if there are two types of transaction. Now below we'll see if there are three types of transaction. If there are three types of transaction, then Here the example given is also a parallel schedule. This will check whether it is equivalent to our serial schedule or no. So see, if there are two transactions, then we'll see that T1 to T2 is also serial schedule, T2 to T1 is also serial schedule. But if there are three transactions, then what are the possibilities of serial schedules? We'll check. See, if there are three transactions, T1, T2, T3, then if there are three transactions, T1, T2, T3, then these are the possibilities of serial schedules we can find. That is T1 to T2, then T2 to T3. Similarly, again T1 to T3 and T2. Similarly, the other all we can find here. So these are the different possibilities that can have serial schedule. But this example we need to check whether it is falling in any of these schedules. If it is falling in any of these serializability, then it is called as a serial schedule. See, to check this serializability, we'll be having two types. One is conflict serializability and other one is view serializability. In conflict serializability, what is happening? See, here we'll check for the conflict pairs. I'll tell you what is a conflict pair later on, no? But see, here in conflict serializability, we'll be checking the conflict pair in other transactions and we'll draw an edge. So for this drawing of edge, here we'll be using a precedence graph. Here precedence graph will be using, it is similar like our graph, where we are using vertices and edges. Vertices here will be the transactions that we are having, and edges will be the path. If we are executing transaction 1, then next to which transaction we are jumping to perform the other operations. So those will be the paths here. So the previous example only we have taken here. Here this is a parallel schedule. This parallel schedule will be checking whether it will fall into our serial schedule or no. If it will fall in serial schedule, then it is called as a serializability. So this example, first we need to draw a precedence graph, and here what it is telling, conflict schedule should check conflict pairs in other transactions. So what is conflict pair? We'll see first. See here, a conflict pair means if there is a read operation in our example, then if there is a read operation, then we'll be checking for the write of that particular data item. If we are doing a read of A, then we'll check a write of A, where it is happening in other transactions, that too. Then if there is write operation, then we'll be checking where we have read that previously, where we are going to read it further. So that is, if we are doing write of A, then further this A is further been read or no, that we'll be checking. Again, if there is write operation, then where is the further write? These are the conflict pairs, and this will lead us in the consistent state. And one more is read and read. This will lead us to inconsistent state. So we'll not check this one. This will lead us to inconsistent state, whereas these three conflict pairs will lead us to consistent state. So these are our three conflict pairs. Read for read, write will be checking, write will be checking for read, and write for write. That is, write we are having two types, read and write. For write we are having for read we are having write. So these are the conflict pairs. We will be checking with other transaction, where if suppose R is happening in T1, then W will be checking in the rest transactions. So I'll tell you here with an example. No? So see, if T1, T2, T3, three transactions are there. So here what it was telling, a conflict serializability means check conflict pairs in other transaction and draw edge. So here the same thing will be doing to check whether this particular schedule is conflict or no. So see, here you are having three transaction T1, T2, T3. In first what you are reading, first operation what you are reading is read of X. Read of X you are doing. So this conflict pair, what it should be? For read you should have write conflict pair. Only for see, for read only write is there. So read of X means you are going to search for write of X. For read of x conflict, you should check for write of x. Where is write of x? Is it present? That too you have to check in other transactions. Is it present in T2? No. Is it present in T3? No. It is present in itself. So you'll cancel this. Similarly, next, which transaction is executing? This one. After finishing R of x, you'll go for R of y. R of y, again what you need to check the conflict pair? W of y, that too in other transaction. R of y, W of y, where is it? It is not there in T2, it's not there in T1 also. So whereas it is present in itself, W of y. So again this you're going to cancel. Next transaction that you will be reading is T3, that is read of x. Again here, read of x, the conflict pair is W of x. Is it present in T2, W of x? No. Is it present in T1? Yeah, it is present in T1. So R of x, which is present in T1, you need to draw T3 to, see, for this precedence graph, first you need to draw all the vertices, that is T1, T2, T3. So from T3, where is the edge going? T3 to T1. So T3 to T1, an arrow mark is drawn here. So we finished R of x also. Next sequence operation is R of y. R of y, what it is doing? R of y, it should have conflict pair as W of y. Is it present in T1? No, it is present in T3. Yes, it is present in T3. So T2 to T3 should have a line, that is we are having here T2 to T3. Previously also we had this, we have drawn. Then next, R of z. R of z, what is the conflict pair? W of z. So W of z, that too you are going to search in other transactions. R of z, W of z you will be searching. Yeah, it is present in itself as well as in T1. So T2 to T1. T2 to T1 is also drawn. So R of z is also over. Next is W of y is been running. Next sequence is W of y. So for W of y, you are having two conflict pairs, for read as well as write. So W of y should have R of y as well as W of y. So R of y is not there anywhere. W of y is also not there. So cancel this also. Next, you're going to read W of z. Again for W of z, you should check for R of z and W of z, two conflict pairs. So R of z is there, W of z is also there. So from where it is that? T2 to T1. T2 to T1 is already drawn. So you'll just ignore this. And after this we are left with only T1 transaction. For this, to compare with other transactions, we don't have any set of operation. So here we are going to stop. So finally you got this graph. So finally you got to this graph. So finally you got this precedence graph. So here, when there are no loops and no cycle, then it is called as a conflict serializability. When there are no loop and no cycle, see, loops means T1 only if you are having like this loops. So we don't have like that any loop. And no cycles means, see, arrow marks. Are these arrow marks leading us again back to the same vertex? Like see, from T3 you will be going to T1, then T1 to T2, and again T2 to T3. Like this, do we have any cycles in our graph? Here, as per we can see, we don't have any cycles. So we don't have any loops, no cycles, then it is called as a conflict serializability. Then this graph is said to be a conflict serializability. If it is a conflict serializability, then this is said to be a serializable graph. And if it is serializable, then it is in a consistent state. So this type of parallel schedule is your serial schedule, or you can call it as a serializability. If it is a serial schedule, then it is also said to be in a consistent state. So this is all about your conflict serial. See, one more thing, to check the serializability. Here we have seen it is a serializable. We have checked that. But what is the sequence? We have seen here in previous example. Here we are having two sequence. That is T1 to T2 you are having arrow mark, or else T2 to T1. Like this you are having. That is T1 all operations are done. Then T2 you are going to do. or else T2 first you're going to execute, then T1 you'll be going for execution. So this is the sequence how transaction will occur. To check what sequence this example is using, we'll use one formula, that is in degree is equals to 0. Whichever node is having in degree as 0, that will be your starting transaction taking place. See, in degree means the number of edges coming to that particular node. So in degree means how many edges are coming to that particular node are called as in degree. Here see, for T1 what is the in degree? 2 edges are coming, 2 arrow marks you are having. So T1 is having 2 in degree, T3 is having 1, it is coming from T2, whereas T2 is having 0 in degree. So T2 will be your first transaction taking place. T2 will be your first transaction taking place. Next, after T2 finishing, you will be left only with, see, once T2 is been finished, so you will be left over with only T1 and T2. That is, you will get graph like this, T1 and T3, because T2 first transaction that is taking place. Then your graph, if you eliminate T2 from that, you will get this type of graph. So next in degree which is having 0, see, T1 in degree is 1 because arrow mark is pointing to it, whereas T3 in degree will be your 0. So next transaction taking place will be T3, then leftover is T1. So here you can see the sequence how the operations are carried out is given as T2, T3 and T1. So this graph already we have proved that it is a serializable. Next we have also found the order of transaction executing. So that is T2, T3 and T1. In this way the sequence execution is being done. This is all about your conflict serializability. Next we will see what is view serializability. See, view is to be matched in non-serial schedule, or you can also call it as a parallel schedule. So you are going to match this particular non-parallel parallel schedule to your serial schedule. If those two are matching, then it is said to be your view serializability. Next, see, given is a non-serial schedule. Here below two schedules are given, that is S1, S2. So S2 is your non-serial schedule, but we apply some rules on this schedule to check whether it matches with our serial schedule. So for this S2 we'll be applying our rules to check whether it is matching to our serial schedule, whereas S1 is your serial schedule. This S2 will apply some rules of view serializability to check whether it is in view serializability or no. So what are those rules in view serializability is, see, first rule is read initial value of data item. Your data items here will be A, B or any variables here. So read initial values of data item. Second rule is write final value of data item. Read write operation is done here. Third one is write read conflict should match. If these are matching, then only we'll tell that it is in a view serializability. See, one second. See here, first two rules we are applying in this example, that is read initial values of data item and write final values of data item. For that to see, we are having two schedules, S1, S2, and how many data items we are having? A and B. So here what we are doing, read initial value of data item. So A, where it is read initially in transaction T1 and T2. So there are two types of schedule, S1 and S2. These two we are matching whether these two schedules are same or no. So A, where is it starting? Read initial value of data item. It is starting at this particular point. Then where in the next schedule we can write it here as T1. Then A, where is it starting in T2? It is starting in see, A, it is starting in S1, and where is it starting in S2 schedule? A, it is starting in T1, and write final value of data item. 1 and 2 rules both are applied in our first cell, that is where it is writing in finally where it is writing, see, even though write of A you're doing in T1, but final write where it is done here, write of A. So here I'll be writing T2. Similarly for A in S2 schedule, here you see in S2 schedule, R of A it is reading initially, A data item it is reading initially in transaction T1, so I'll write T1. And in transaction T2 where it is finally writing final write of A, so here it is doing final write of A, that is T2. Similarly for B also will be doing here. See, B data item where it is reading initially here it is reading, and final write where it is doing here also it is doing, but final write we are asking, so it is doing in T2, so I got T2. Similarly B in schedule 2, initially where it is reading, see, these are starting, all three are on A, then here it is final initial read of B, final write of B. See, initial it is write of B, final write of B is here, then again T1 and T2 will get. So these two are matching, S1 and S2. See, A is matching, A is having T1 T2, and similarly in A for schedule 2 it is also having T1 T2. B data item in schedule 1 it is having T1 T2. Similarly B in S2 is also having T1 T2. That means if these two are matching, these two rules are satisfied for our view serializability. Then third rule also will match, that is write read conflict. Write read conflict means, see, write of A is having read of A. So write of A and read of A, where is it present? Similarly it can be write of B. Here there are two data items, that is A and B. So write of A, write of A and read of A, write of B and read of B. These two will check whether these two are matching in schedule 1 and schedule 2 or no. Write of A and read of A, see, here you are having write of A, you are having here, read of A you are having in T2. Similarly write of B is here and write of B you are having in T2. Here write of A you are having here, arrow mark is shown here, read of A. Again write of B you are having here, read of B you are having here. So that means both are matching here, both are having in one transaction. So S2 is a view equivalent to our S1. S2 is our view equivalent to S1 we can call. So we can call that S2 is a view equivalent to our S1. That is S2 will be in a parallel schedule. So this we are checking whether it is in our serial schedule or no. So we have proved that by applying view rules that S2 is equivalent to our S1, view equivalent to our S1. So these are all about our serializability. Thank you.